All right. All right. We are live on both Twitch and YouTube. If you're one of the YouTube bots out there, thanks for joining us today. My name is O'Shaughnessy. I almost said Samson. That's not my name. That's his name. I am O'Shaughnessy. This is Samson, and you are here for another lively discussion on cameos. This is a really exciting episode for, I think, different reasons than we originally anticipated. Doctor Strange recently released. We had the pleasure of going and seeing that live last Thursday, and we have a lot of thoughts on that to kick off the top of the hour here. So let's not waste any time on that.
Oh, you want to just skip that?
No. Let's not waste any time and let's just not talk about it at all. No. So, just to, say, to let the cat out of the bag, or the cat out of the multiverse of madness, that movie was a hot mess. We did our best not to talk about it like we usually do coming out of the theaters, but dude, you and I were like laughing through the movie because it was so bad at some points that it was impossible not to. Dude, everybody in the theater was laughing. Like it was.
Yeah.
Everybody was definitely on the same vibe, like when you're in a movie and everybody's like on that same level.
Like what is this? What's happening here?
On the level of like what in God's name is going on. Yeah, that was a rough display. I want to know a little bit about what you thought about it to start off, if you had
before we give the synopsis.
Before we go over exactly how this movie fell apart scene by scene. What do you like? Give me a high level. Where did this
high level
for you?
I like a good story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this had a good story. I think rewrites are probably made the movie suffer.
Yeah,
because they had to do a lot of rewrites because this was supposed to come out before Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure America was supposed to be introduced in another film. So I think given that, and then I don't like the Sam Raimi style of directing.
I'm noticing not land for me either. There was a very stylistic
corny
thing that they chose to do, and I just don't think it has a place in the MCU. Like, I will say, if you have not seen the movie and you don't want any spoilers, too bad. You're gonna get them all right now. But the one thing that I will say before we get into those spoilers and what happens in the movie is, if you love like the old school Evil Dead movies, or movie, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2, with Bruce Campbell, and this is probably the best movie you've ever seen. If you like that,
definitely.
We'll get into it more later, but I think my biggest disappointment was how they had advertised the movie versus how it was portrayed. All the advertising stuff for this, like we talked about last week, was all big giant implications for the MCU world, and what we got was like a very on the rails story. It was one of the more boring MCU stories I think that there's been, to be honest. And it shouldn't be. Definitely worse. I mean, this had a lot of elements that were kind of wacky, but like for being called the multiverse of madness, for being like, what is this now? Like the 7th or 8th entry, including the TV shows after Endgame, like, let's start to tie some stuff up. Let's start to like really show the world building that they've been doing through all these successful things. None of that happened. That wasn't this movie at all. This movie was very much just like another entry. So that's how we feel. Let's go through it, because I didn't hate every part of the movie. It's just the whole package just fell flat for me, but like there were parts of the movie that were good. So like, just to kick it off, the movie starts out, in my opinion, strong. Like we jump right into it. I was really excited that the opening sequence is Strange Supreme, or whatever you want to call him, the Strange Daddy, running through the multiverse with America Chavez. They're getting chased by some monster. The CG was great. There was action. I was like, okay, great. We're learning the story through this series of, they got to get to the book to stop this monster that's chasing them. I was like, all right, great. I was like, I knew this was only a 2-hour movie going in, so I was really happy to see that we were like hitting the ground running. Fantastic. Awesome.
The book was the Ashanti. Is that what it's called?
The Ashanti, yeah, the Book of the Ashanti. Well, which is basically the opposite of the Darkhold.
Yes.
Yeah, Book of Pure Light. Spoiler alert: it doesn't do anything. It's completely. They get it, and then it gets destroyed. So.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you, chat. It's Vishanti.
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 Yeah. Vishanti.
I was thinking it was Ashanti. I was listening to Murder Inc.
The Book of Beyonce. Yeah, they get to the book. The monster catches up with them, and it's like this big, cool, mummy-looking monster. I was like, dude, this is great. It's fantastic. Everything was good. Action was good. There was some violent stuff in there that we haven't gotten in a lot of stuff. Like Strange Supreme gets his like leg tore open. And you get to see like blood and stuff. This movie definitely pushed that PG-13 boundary. We'll get to that, but Strange Supreme is like, there's only one way. I got to take your power from you so that this monster doesn't get it. He dies. He doesn't get to do that. The monster kills him. America gets away by screaming. That's the only way that she can activate her power. She screams.
It was like fear. She got scared.
Right. She
through
got,
fear. She
yeah,
activated her power.
You should clarify that. Yeah. So she can't control her power. She can only activate her like multiversal jumping when she gets scared and frightened or angry or whatever. So she portals out, and bada bing, bada boom, she's in our universe now with our Doctor Strange. Strange Supreme is dead, just like laying in the middle of the alley, and she's like, oh, dip, I gotta get out of here. And then we cut over to Doctor Strange, and he's going through the whole wedding sequence. We learned
but it turns out that was a dream he had.
Well, it was, but it wasn't. Yeah, he was
but
dreaming
that's important for
that is true. That is true.
Yes.
So that was a dream that he was having, that our Doctor Strange was having, and then he wakes up and he's got to go to a wedding. So he goes to what's her name? The doctor. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember her name.
Just call her Rachel.
Rachel McAdams. Dr. Rachel McAdams. His love interest from the first movie. She's getting married. We find out that it's not to him. That makes sense because she kind of dropped off the map after the first Doctor Strange. So we learned through a little bit of exposition that he couldn't commit to her because he was Sorcerer Supreme. He's got to save the world. You know, that old thing with superheroes. They can't tie it down with the love interest because, the saving the world comes first, and they don't want the Dr. Rachel McAdams to be a liability. So she's getting married to some dude
who turns out is a big fan of Doctor Strange.
He never got that autograph, by the way. They set that up. She was like, "Hey, he wants an autograph," and then wedding gets interrupted by a giant Cthulhu monster.
That's Shumagarath.
Shumagarath, but he's Gargantos.
Yes.
Now because of some licensing thing, which is weird. I don't know. I think Shumagarath was from like He-Man or something like that. Conan the Barbarian. It was from some thing.
What, Shuma?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't an MCU property. I think it was, they borrowed it from somebody else.
I didn't know that.
They call him Gargantos. That's what he's credited as in this movie. He's a big eyeball with like some tentacle legs coming off of him. And the chat is now exploding with so much. Thank you, chat. Keep it lit. Shumagarath chasing none other than America Chavez, who just portaled into our world. We come to find out that she's being chased by a ton of these monsters across the multiverse. Doctor Strange, of course, witnesses this, and he's like, to the rescue, and he flies out from the wedding. Again, up to this point in the movie, I'm sold. I'm solid on everything. I don't think I had many complaints. I thought it was a little weird. Doctor Strange, like one thing that I did notice that it would have been a nitpick in hindsight, but it's just kind of adds to the pacing of the movie not being very good. Doctor Strange wakes up from this like horrific like nightmare where he dies and it's like super vivid and real. And then it's like the next scene, he's like, da, 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 got to get ready for a wedding. I was like, whoa, it was just like jarring how quickly they move. But I think that's just a product of the movie only being 2 hours. And I know they had to cut a lot for this, thankfully. But it was just a weird cut thing. But other than that, everything up to this point, I've been on board with. Would you say the same? Were you still in the movie at this point?
Yeah, I was still enjoying it.
Yeah.
I appreciated Shuma, so
the fight was dope. I liked how they were using Doctor Strange's powers in a more like comic way. Like he summons like a giant buzzsaw to cut a bus in half. He like summons these like demon hands to rip a light pole out of the ground.
Yeah, I did not like that actually.
You thought that was too much?
There's like the Green Lantern does that. Why is Doctor Strange also needs to do
that? Is true. I assume that it had some comic book callbacks. I mean, Doctor Strange does cast all sorts of mythic.
It could, stuff. But we don't need the slapstick comedy.
It was a little on the nose
portion of it,
and there was a fight later on that really was on the nose, and that one did not land well for me at all. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah. And how much time passed in the movie at this point? This is like what, 20 minutes in?
I think we're like 20 minutes in. The movie is quick. There's 2 big action sequences within like the first 30 minutes, which again, I'm like, all right, we got a 2-hour movie. I got high hopes. This is the pace that I want to see set. And I think we were good up to this point. It starts to fall apart after Doctor Strange rescues America from Octopus Monster Man. And, they get to America Chavez. She's like, this is one of many universes, and Doctor Strange is like, prove it. And she's like, well, here's your dead body from another universe. And he's like, okay, that works. That was the dream I just had. And then I think that's where we learn that people's dreams are actually windows into their other
the multiverse,
into their other reality. So
yeah,
I do have a question about that I want to come back to, but we'll keep it moving just for the sake of telling the rest of this story. They bury the body because they can't have a zombie Doctor Strange just running around the city. Wong is there. He helped beat Mr. Octopus Man. Everybody loves Wong. He's like the new Sorcerer Supreme at this point. He's like, do you have any idea who can help us like track down these multiverse monsters that are chasing you through this plethora of dimensions you're going through? And Doctor Strange is like, I know somebody. Ding, ding, ding. That's our friend Wanda Maximoff, who we last saw at the end of WandaVision. She had a bit of a reformation after her debacle in Westview, where she hypnotized every single person. And we got like the MCU's take on House of M. Probably the closest thing we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, it's as close as you'll ever get.
She seemed to be coming back, but then she was studying the Darkhold, so we don't really know where she's at. We see her in a nice little orchard picking flowers, and Doctor Strange is like, what does he pick up on from her? He's like,
so she knows America's name.
She knows America's
and he never
name.
Said it.
Right. So he comes in and he explains the situation. He's like, we got somebody who's running through the multiverse from these monsters. We could use your help, battling the mystic arts with a fellow sorceress. And she's like, you should just bring America here. And Doctor Strange was like, hold up. Never told you her name.
And that's when he realizes she was the one sending those demons through the multiverse to chase her.
That's it, just right there.
Yeah,
like, they lay this out again. We're like 35 minutes into the story. Whole plot. That's the whole plot. It doesn't get more complicated than that. Like that. It was so frustrating when that came out, and then I sat here waiting for the next hour and a half for there to be some big twist where Wanda's not actually the bad guy. It was like somebody controlling her. Maybe Cthulhu, the author of the Darkhold that she was studying.
Yeah, that's what I had hoped. I was like, oh, she's gonna go meet Cthulhu, absorb his power, make her own kids, and
this is where I think my stomach really started to drop when she was just like, "How did you know?" And then it gets all dark, and like all of the orchard setting that they were in turns into this big dark hellscape. Great
Which
scenery.
look cool. Yeah, it look cool, but like
great setting, great scenery. They did all that
it's
really
not enough.
well, but holy hell, that was the whole thing. The
Mm-hmm.
whole story was just there. So if I will say, if you like Sam Raimi movies and you like movies that just don't make you think at all, you're set up for success already in the first 30 minutes. However, I know you and I didn't go into this like that.
Nah.
No. Wanda's evil now.
Yeah, she's evil, and then she goes to attack Kamartage.
Yep. Oh yeah, that was
Immediately.
the thing. She was like, "Give me the girl in 24 hours, or I'm gonna come attack you." And then
Yeah, she was
lo
like,
and
"This is me
behold,
being reasonable."
this is
And
me being reasonable. There were some cool
yeah,
lines in there. I thought the
yeah, I
delivery
like
of
the
those.
lines.
I thought the delivery of those lines. I think one of the best things from this movie was Wanda's performance. Or I'm sorry,
Elizabeth
Elizabeth
Olsen.
Olsen. Her performance was chef's kiss. I think she really held
Yeah,
it
she's
together.
really good.
I thought
Yeah,
Benedict Cumberbatch was fine. He
I
wasn't
enjoyed
anything
him.
special, but the writing was generally pretty bad, minus a few good lines. But the delivery so far, again, has been good.
Hmm.
Lo and behold, they don't give up America Chavez, so Wanda comes and attacks Kamartage, which is
Hmm.
one of the Sanctum, whatever.
Yeah, it's where they train all the sorcerers.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It
where
was where
Doctor
Doctor Strange
Strange
got.
went to train in the first movie, and then she watches them, and that really bothered me. Like she's way too strong.
So you get all the sorcerers coming up, putting up their big
Yeah,
shields
and
around the entire
the
dome.
entire place,
She's
she
just sitting there like
makes
flinging
one
some
scared.
little red stuff at it, and I was like, okay. She, she breaks their impenetrable defenses by getting into the mind of one of
Of
them
one of
and
them.
telling
Yeah.
him to run. And of course, he doesn't run. He like clumsily like tackles like three people trying to run away. And I guess them breaking like four is enough to break the. That
Yes.
was dumb. That was so.
And
That was
I'll
so
say
dumb to
like
me.
the whole run thing, like that looked cool to me. Like the whole her appearing behind him,
Yes,
and
where
like that's cool.
she got in his head and you like saw a version of Wanda behind this guy and she looks all evil and she's like, run. And then he like runs like Flash from Justice League where he's like
Flailing his
throwing
arms.
his arms out. And I'm like, so
Like,
he
are
like
you
knocks over
serious?
a couple people and then the defenses go down. Wanda gets in, she wrecks everybody. It's
Everybody
not even a close.
kills a bunch of people.
Not even close.
Yeah.
They get America into a room, and Doctor Strange is able to stall Wanda by trapping her in the mirror dimension. Again,
I don't think that was a mirror dimension though. I thought it was just
another
like it trapped in
place.
mirrors. It's like a spell.
Okay, so she's trapped in some kind of mirror spell thing. But she figures out how to break through the spell, and she's like zipping around in all of the reflections that are in the room, so they're running around covering everything up. I thought this was pretty neat. This is when things started to get a little spooky. They definitely like played into that, like, oh my god, she can come from anywhere, and you see like her eyeball like sticking out of a puddle, and then she eventually finds a reflection in the room that she's able to come through. She fucks everybody up in there. And then she gets held off by Wong, I think, like distracts her. And then Doctor Strange makes off with America.
Because America got scared again.
America got scared again, right. To further the plot, America gets scared. We're on to the next sequence. She and Doctor Strange go through this portal while Wong is stuck with Wanda back in the ruined Kamartage. And there was a very, very cool sequence here of them going through
the travel through the multiverse,
the dimensions. Yeah, all of the universes. We saw like a paint dimension where they were made out of like paint. There was one where they were like in an old timey, like black and white cartoon world. Everything. There were a ton of little pieces here from comics. I think we saw where the Kree from, the planet where the Kree come from. I think you saw that planet. There was the primordial something. It's a thing with three big heads on it that are like around. I can't remember the name of that off the top of my head, but a bunch of things that they teased, but they were just really just kind of Easter eggs at the end of the day, because they end up in basically our version of Earth, but with like a sepia filter applied to it from Instagram. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
and
like
pizza balls for some reason. Like,
pizza balls. Don't forget about the pizza balls. Yeah.
okay.
America's like, you always gotta look for the
You
food.
gotta eat. Like, you gotta
eat.
find food.
There was
Most
just
universes don't make you pay for food.
This is some weird dialogue.
Oh, you didn't pay for that? Come on, man. This is dumb.
Bruce Campbell's cameo. He's the pizza ball vendor. Bruce Campbell was the guy that played Ash in Evil Dead. He's got a cameo in all of Sam Raimi's movies. So like, he was in Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, I think, as like little minor roles here and there. So he makes a quick appearance, which fine. Again, I think if you like Evil Dead, you're like,
you're gonna enjoy this movie.
What happened next? Oh, we get a little bit of exposition about America Chavez. They stand on this very conveniently placed mind reading device.
Yeah, like I really hated that, because why you should have to pay for this. They're just going to show you your whole memory.
I know, they were just walking down the street, and there's like a little circle that you can stand in that tells you your memories for God knows why. And that's how we learn about America's past. She was a mother, or she was a daughter to two moms from some alien world. This is what
Utopian Parallels where she's from, but
yeah. I'm sorry, what was it?
It's called the Utopian Parallel. It doesn't.
Parallel.
I don't know that it matters movie wise. Like, her parents get lost in the multiverse somehow.
So yeah, so we find that the first time that America used her powers by accident was when a bee landed on her as a young girl. She's like 4 years old, and a bee lands on her, and she flips the fuck out and summons a dimension to another world, and the parents just get like souped out. And that was it. I was like, oh my God, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
I was so mad. That happened. I was like,
so dumb. That was
I was so annoyed.
Dumb. That was the funniest thing. I was like,
it's the entire sequence of them just standing there, a bee, like, this is
get, like,
too convenient and
ripped
lazy.
out into another dimension. It was just like, what the like. So then Doctor Strange gets on. Yeah, then Doctor Strange now knows a little bit about her, and he's like, "Oh wow, that sucks, but like, you're gonna be good. Don't worry about it." Is basically what he tells her. Doctor Strange gets on the memory device, and I think it's like a first date with Christy Palmer, Dr. Palmer. That's her name, Christy Palmer. And it's basically
it doesn't matter.
It's basically
it furthers the plot,
but he still loves her.
Yes.
After all this time, even though she's married to somebody else, he's still in love. Where do they go from there? Oh, they come across where a statue has been erected to the Doctor Strange in this universe. So,
and the entire time they were looking for that universe's version of him, so they can get back, but he was dead.
He's dead. We find out that he's dead in this universe, right? And they are at the front of the Illuminati.
No, they're not there yet.
No,
they're at like where Doctor Strange will live, but that's Baron Mordo's Mordo, however you say his name.
It is this version's of Bleecker Street, so it's this this universe's version of the Doctor Strange house in New York.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're talking to Sorcerer Supreme, which is now Baron Mordo,
who was the dude from the first movie that was he was like a student with Doctor Strange, but then he ended up
trying to kill
him at the end of the movie because he thought there were too many sorcerers. I don't really remember his motivation in the first movie. That seems kind of weak, but
no. So in the first movie, his motivation was like he believed in order. So as soon as Doctor Strange broke the rules to stop Dormammu, and he saw the Sorcerer Supreme, what's her name, Tilda Swinton's character, had also broke the rules. He's like, all right, nah, this is not cool. You're doing the same thing. All this is wrong.
Yeah,
the ancient one, yes. So all this is wrong. No more wizards. Or no more magic, but they don't address like anything. They just Doctor Strange's like, oh, he hates me in my universe, but we've never seen him actually do anything hate wise towards him. So like, it's okay.
They filled it in a little bit there. I guess
they filled it in.
We're supposed to expect that after the events of Doctor Strange 1, Baron Mordo and Doctor Strange have gotten into it a couple times, which I think they might in the comics or something. But
they in the comics, yeah, but in the MCU, Doctor Strange has been gone for 5 years.
That's true.
Which is why Wong is Sorcerer Supreme. So when did he have time to come after him hate wise if you've been gone for 5 years? How much time has passed in this period? But it is what it is.
Accurate. There's not a whole lot of time for the beef to have happened, but the beef remains, but not in this universe. Mm-hmm. So Baron was like, "Hey, yo, you and I were buddies. You're dead over here, but like, let's get stuff figured out." Tricked. He pranked him. He put some sleepy juice in their tea that they were drinking. So Doctor Strange and America Chavez pass out. America, with the worst fainting act of all
terrible
time. I don't know if that was like somebody told her to act that way or if that was really how she like passes out, but it was like she literally fell like that. Like it was less convincing than what I just did.
It was like that. Just
yeah.
It just dropped.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, all right,
man. I think a bunch of people laughed in the theater.
I think I said "what" out loud. I was like, what? I was very annoyed.
It was so bad. It was really bad. So Baron Mordo's like, I can't let you guys wander around here. I gotta bring you to my companions, who we learn are the Illuminati. These guys are like in the comics, they're basically a different version of the Avengers. They're like a conglomerate of heroes that all come together to stop threats. In the Illuminati's case, it tends to be like bigger scale, like multiversal stuff, right?
But they're like super shiesty though, because they don't like at one point they destroy an entire universe, which is something that's kind of hinted at.
They say
in this movie,
yeah. They made the executive call. So we learn about something called the incursion.
Yes, that's a comic. Also.
So an incursion is when an inhabitor of one universe goes to another one and they stay there. The universes that they're from start to collide into each other. And it's not good. It's as bad as it sounds. So they basically are like, Wanda, she's not a problem. We're not worried about Wanda. We hear you that she's after America. She wants this multiversal ability to hop between dimensions. Oh, I think we should mention at this point, I think we've learned Wanda's motivations for trying to get America, and that's that Wanda wants America's powers so that she can hop to a dimension where her kids, who we saw in WandaVision, who were just a figment of her imagination in WandaVision, she can actually get kids that exist in a universe where they are not a figment of her imagination and steal them, which is exactly what I said was going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think she was trying to steal the kids. I think she just wanted to raise her kids.
So what? So she was going to go to the other dimension, kill that version of Wanda, and then I mean, I feel like that's basically kidnapping them.
I think it's either that or find a dimension or a multiversal plane where there was no Wanda, but there were still her kids, and then raise her kids.
Said in that movie, Doctor Strange was like, "What are you gonna do to the Wanda that already exists?" And she was like, "Sacrifices must be made."
Oh, so all right. Well, never mind. Kill herself.
She came out and said that. She was like, "I don't care."
Kill herself and take over, which is weird, but
take
okay.
The kids. Anyway, so Doctor Strange knows all of this through talking to Wanda earlier in the movie. He explains this to the Illuminati. The Illuminati are like, we can handle Wanda.
Also, there's Christine Palmer works at the Baxter Building, where the Illuminati is. Where the Illuminati is stationed. She explains to Doctor Strange about like, multiversal theory and like your Earth is 616, which is a tie to the comics because that's what the main Marvel comic universe is, which was good. And then the Illuminati in this movie, it's not the Illuminati from the comics per se. We get the Sorcerer Supreme of that universe, which is Baron Mordo. We get Captain Marvel. I don't know why, We get Captain Britain.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not Captain Britain. Captain Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool. We get Professor X. Which is what we were waiting for. Yes, Patrick Stewart, Professor X.
We should mention that Professor Carter is this Peggy Carter from.
Yes.
It seems like she's straight out of the What If series, but
yes,
it could be a different.
And the Agent Carter series too. This should be the same actress from what I remember.
Yeah. She's cool. I like her.
Yes. We get and Reed Richards. Right. It's just 5 of them, right?
No, there was also.
Captain Marvel. We get Blackguard Bolt. Whatever.
Black Bolt.
We get Black Bolt. Yes.
Captain Marvel, who in this universe is not Carol Danvers, but
her best friend.
Yeah, her friend's mom.
Mm-hmm. No, her best friend, her actual best friend.
Captain Marvel is old, but she looks young because she's all super radiated. So whatever her friend's name was from the Captain Marvel movie. What's her name's mom?
I said Black Bolt's name wrong. I'm not going to even attempt it. I was annoyed anyway the way they did it, so there's no respect given to this Illuminati. Is Blackguard something is Blackguard's first name. His last name is like something weird.
So we have some. So the big cool thing about the Illuminati reveal was we get confirmation. Okay. So here's why it's cool. Why it wasn't.
Thank you, chat.
Why it?
I know. Shout out to my sister. Also, sorry.
We get confirmation that they are gonna pull over some more people from other entries. Black Bolt was in the what was that ABC show Inhumans, or was that on Netflix? I can't remember where.
I don't remember where it was, but it was terrible. I know it got canceled, and I saw it on Disney Plus, but it's the same actor.
Same actor who did him. But he's a cool character in the comic books.
In the comics, he's cool.
He's awesome.
Not in this movie.
Reed Richards, the very hyped up rumor of it being played by none other than Jim Halpert, Mr. John Krasinski from The Office. So a lot of people thought he might be Reed Richards, who, if you know anything about the Fantastic Four, he is the smartest man alive, smarter than Tony. I was going to say Tony Hawk. Smarter than Tony Hawk. Smarter than Tony Stark. Smarter than Doctor Strange. You know, he's supposed to be.
He's one of the smartest guys.
Doctor Doom, I think, is also up there as well.
And it's Doctor Doom, Reed Richards, a Black Panther, Bruce Banner, Hank Pym.
Mm-hmm. But Reed Richards, I think, is supposed to be smarter than those other guys.
And Beast. No, so they're all in different fields.
Okay.
So that's why they're like the 7 smartest people in the world.
Gotcha. Well, he's up there. He's there. He's here.
Yes, he's up there.
He's the guy that stretches. It was really cool seeing some of them. But I gotta say that honestly, after No Way Home, it just kind of I was like, okay, I just feel like we've done this already. The biggest, coolest thing for me was seeing Jim Halpert as Reed Richards, because I was like, oh, they're actually doing that. We knew Patrick Stewart was going to be there. Just the rest of the members were, and we knew Captain Carter.
Captain Carter, there. I don't know why Captain Marvel was there though. They kind of bother me. But they could have pulled someone actually in the Illuminati
there
from
was
the
a
comics.
Big theory that
Tom Cruise, Iron Man,
as Iron Man Supreme, or Ultra Iron Man. I can't remember his name. Supreme Iron Man, something like that. Would have been here.
We didn't get that.
He's like the worst version of Iron Man. He's like a complete cocky asshole. That would have been so much fun to see. I had seen rumors that Blade was going to make an appearance here. We know that Blade is cast. They cast Blade as Mahershala Ali. I thought we were going to get to see him here. There were a couple more notable ones that I really wish that we had instead of Captain Carter and Captain Marvel. It just didn't pan out. But basically, the Illuminati say in their universe, Doctor Strange had broken some of the key tenets of being not a piece of shit. And he had done this thing called dream walking, which is now what Wanda is trying to do to get into their universe. Dreamwalking is when you basically take over an inhabitant from a universe. You don't necessarily jump into the universe yourself. You just sort of like hypnotize the version of you in that universe. Stephen Strange did that in their universe.
And he had done it to beat Thanos.
And he had done it to beat Thanos. Yep.
Yes, he used the Darkhold to beat Thanos, and then he had to go because he was messing up the multiverse, so they got rid of him.
Illuminati, like you said, they're dicks. They were like,
yeah, you gotta go.
So they kill him. They kill the version of Doctor Strange. They're just really not that nice to Doctor Strange's. Wanda, lo and behold, she shows up. She was able to master the dream walking thing. She doesn't care.
Yes.
There's no rules for her.
Which it's supposed to be temporary, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, she was in there for a while.
Exactly. So it's not a big
so she was running around. She ends up finding them through her magical ways. She breaks into the Illuminati headquarters and...
Oh, wait. Sorry. Not before she hangs out with her kids and they sing a trash song about wanting ice cream.
I just wanted to forget all about that.
Let's never forget that happened.
She walks into her body and they're like back in the house that they were in WandaVision. And the kids are... Dude, you said the funniest thing in the movie where you're like, the kids do this weird little like, Mom, we got to show you something. Like, come here, quick. And then she's like, okay, do I have to? And they're like, they insist. So I'm like, okay, something's like, they're building up this stupid little moment for something. The kids sing like, we are so good, so we want ice cream.
Off key.
And it was
no
like,
harmony.
I think it was
How dare you?
Cute because they're like little kids doing some little kid shit. But oh my God, it was just really cringy. How long it took. It was like 5 minutes of like build up from... Like,
and this is like we're like an hour 30 into the movie.
And what you said, dude, that was like Stewie from
Mad TV.
From Mad TV, where he's like, "Look what I can do," and then he like,
"What are you doing, man?"
Does a little thing, and he's like, "Give me a treat."
That's exactly what those kids were doing, and I was so upset.
Look what I can do.
It was so sad.
Oh my God, it was so dumb. All right, so Wanda gets the hell out of there, obviously, because she's got to get away from those kids. She's like, I made a huge mistake. I don't want these kids anymore. It's like she's like, this is perfect. This is all I want are these weird little kids to be stuck with forever. And she breaks into the Illuminati headquarters for what has got to be the toughest PG-13 fight I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the gore in this movie, they took it to new levels.
Yes, they
I'll
did.
give credit where credit's due. Like, I have no idea how they passed a PG-13 rating on this movie.
It looks great, but they completely disrespected Black Bolt.
Yeah, let's talk about the fight, because this was the big altercation of the movie. Reed Richards, Black Bolt, Captain Carter, and Captain Marvel are like, we'll go take care of Wanda. Professor X is just not there. I don't know where he is. But then Baron Mordo is watching over Doctor Strange. Which strange to not bring your Sorcerer Supreme into a fight with the other magic user. Interesting choice. Reed Richards, smartest man on Earth. But
no, this is the dumbest iteration of Reed Richards I've ever seen in my life.
Reed Richards tells Wanda to stand down because Black Bolt, with a single word, can obliterate her. So what does Wanda do? She zips his mouth shut from the Matrix. Like, Black Bolt's mouth goes away. Black Bolt freaks the fuck out and screams, and his powers reverberate back into his head, and it like, he has an aneurysm, and it was like
completely disrespectful to Black Bolt. That would never.
Yeah, Black Bolt. His power is he like when he speaks, it like does this. It's like a shockwave, but it's more than that. It like breaks things down on like a molecular level. So he had to learn how to like not speak. He talks through sign language, but he's like become a master of that. Like that's his whole thing, is like his power of like self-control. Of not doing that, and she does like one little magic trick on him, and he like screams into his own head.
There's no way. He's like one of the strongest people.
He's dead. He's done.
Marvel, gone. And I don't like how they did that. That really bothered me. That's when I checked out.
Reed Richards is like, oh no, you didn't, and he like starts to stretch towards Wanda. Wanda's like, dude, what is this shit? Confetti, and just like turns him into spaghetti. He just like separates into spaghetti and then pops his head.
Again, also stupid. He's like, he does. Reed Richards doesn't even like start stretching the fight. He just pulls out a device and shuts off your magic. Like, it doesn't. I don't like this. But continue. Just the whole fight. For some reason, so Captain Carter and Captain Marvel are still fighting.
Yes, there go your
somehow
two biggest fighters. Yeah, Captain Carter alive with the power of
a shield.
Shield. She's basically, she's a version of Steve Rogers. If Steve Rogers didn't get his serum, it went to Peggy Carter instead. So
she's the easiest one to kill.
But yes, she's somehow still running around throwing shields. Until Wanda, I'm pretty sure she just grabs the shield and then throws it back at Peggy, cuts her in half. She's dead. Captain Marvel stands up the longest because she is arguably probably one of the stronger ones with her radioactive aura. And
she drops a statue on her.
Yeah, drops a statue on her. That was also such a disappointing.
Okay, like this is a terrible fight. And then Doctor Strange and Baron are fighting.
Doctor Strange, in the meantime, is trying to coerce Baron Mordo to attack him to get these. Doctor Strange has these cuffs on, which are suppressing his magic. They have like the sands of Agamotto in them or something, so he can't do any of his spells. And he's like, "Oh, Baron Mordo, you a bitch." And Baron Mordo's like, "What?" And then he attacks him and then breaks the cuffs. Okay, so that aside, Professor X finally rejoins the movie after just being gone for like 15 minutes for some reason. He comes up behind Wanda and does his little spell. He does his mental, what do you call it? Like,
you reach into her mind.
Yeah, he does his mental I can't remember the word, but like he's in her head.
Psychic?
Yeah, psychic powers. That's probably what I want to say. Yeah, psychic is the word I want to use.
He's psychic.
He uses his psychic powers on Wanda. He finds the version of Wanda that's like suppressed in this dream walker, like puppet version of Wanda. He's like, hey, maybe I can get you out of here and we can be all right. And that didn't work because Wanda reverse psychics him and comes up behind him and snaps his neck immediately.
Which looks cool, but
I thought the art direction here was well done. I know not everybody was a fan of just like showing her mind as like a white void with like very little in it. It was very plain and bland, but I thought it visually looked cool. I didn't think about it that much. I was just like, oh, okay.
I didn't either.
I didn't think about it that much, but
all I thought about was the
Wanda came in this like red cloud.
Yeah, and the Sokovia scene. Remember where her and Pietro were buried under the rubble?
That's a call back to that.
Yeah, so I was like, I appreciate this, but then it's a dumb fight all around.
Yes, yeah, that was a bad fight.
Yeah.
So Wanda is now killed all of the Illuminati. Baron Mordo is just trapped in like a little hole that Doctor Strange left him in when they were fighting, just like a little
because he has like the wrist thing on, so he can't use magic, so he's just down there.
Right. He's got that's right. He cuffed him with his cuffs. And now Wanda's just freely chasing after Doctor Strange and America Chavez.
Oh, and America got out because she somehow realized she's super strong. So she just punched the thing she was trapped in.
They had her in.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So America Chavez, Christine Palmer, and Doctor Strange meet up, run away. Wanda chases them for a long time down a hallway that leads to the Book of Vishanti.
Yes.
It is this version's Doctor Strange that had made a tunnel that led right to the book that was the opposite of the Darkhold. Very convenient. Wanda continues chasing them in a very weirdly paced, like there was this one shot down there where they were like Wanda was basically like ripping through the doors like they were paper, like these big metal doors were coming down, and then she was just ripping through them like paper, and then all of a sudden this one door comes down in front of her, and they stop. Doctor Strange, Dr. Palmer, and America Chavez are just standing there like waiting for her to come through the door.
Like 3 minutes of this.
Long time. And then all of that for like a quick little jump scare. Wanda like poofs through the door really quick and like jumps up to the screen, and it's supposed to be scary.
It's not. It's expected and corny.
It was,
and so, like, oh my god, and
it was such a long like pause during that chase where I was like, you had to cut 45 minutes of the movie, but you left this garbage in. Like, that was just so weird. They get through the door, Book of Ashanti. They walk right up to it, and then Wanda is still chasing them. So Wanda just walks up and sets the thing on fire with her dark magic. Womp, womp. Like,
something. Yeah, it's dumb, but something. The homie Jay pointed out, like the book opened, and you see a star on one of the pages, hinting at like, oh, the way what you need to win this is America.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you look closely, you see a star on one of the pages.
So it was the truth they needed was in them all along. It was the journey along the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because Wanda sends Christine Palmer and Doctor Strange to another universe using America's power, and then takes America back to Earth 616 where the real Wanda is, so she can take her power,
suck the power out of her,
which she doesn't do for 30 minutes.
I know, that was
for some reason
quite a long time. We should mention that during this altercation in these other universes, Mr. Wong and Wanda are like, Wanda's got Wong like held prisoner, and she's like, you know, I'm gonna figure out how to get over there and do this stuff, and you're gonna help me. And he's like, I'm not gonna help you. And then she tortures like 2 of his students, and he's like, all right, fine, I'll help you. Because in their world, the Darkhold had gotten blasted. So Wanda had
one of the students destroyed the
Darkhold while Wanda was dream walking. And so in order to suck America's powers out, she needed to go to the source of the Darkhold, which is what Wong helps her do after like he's like, I'm not going to help you. And then she tortures 2 of his students. He's like, all right, fine, let's do it. They go to basically where the Darkhold was written. We get a name drop of Chthon, which was cool. I respect it. Kind of was hoping this was my last, like, okay, maybe Chthon is going to come out and we'll find out that he's been doing this stuff and he's making Wanda be extra evil, but no. Nope. Chthon is basically he wrote the Darkhold, and that's the level of his engagement in this movie. So Wanda walks up to the altar for him. There's like some monsters there that are guarding it. You think they're gonna fight, but they don't because they're loyal to her. You see like a big statue of her, and she's like, it's always supposed to be me, it was always me. She's like fully lost her mind at this point. She's like fully in the entrenched in the craziness. She gets America up there with her, and
it doesn't do anything for 30 minutes.
Just tries to start sucking the power out of her eventually, I guess. So flashback to Doctor Strange and Christine Palmer in the world that they got blasted into. This is a universe where the universes are like collapsing in on each other. An incursion has occurred in this universe. Doctor Strange is like, all right, well, let's figure out what happened here. I got to go find the version of me in this universe. They touch base with him really quick, and he's like lost his mind. He's a version of Doctor Strange that had meddled with the Darkhold and continued to meddle with it. And he's like, you guys are gonna just live here with me because I want that version of Christine Palmer for myself. And our version of Doctor Strange is like, nah, man, that's not what's gonna happen at all. So they have a musical battle.
It's corny.
Yeah, it was It was pretty bad. Corny. Yeah. Doctor Strange lands on a piano and makes a musical note. And then it gives him the inspiration to like take all of the notes off of all the pages and use them as like little nunchucks, or not nunchucks, shurikens, and like throw the musical notes at the other Doctor Strange. And then the other Doctor Strange starts to do the same. And the spells are like bouncing off of each other. I think visually it would have looked really cool if it wasn't just such a weird, like it was just corny. So on the nose. Like it was just really, I get they're trying to do like this was definitely more of like a comic book kind of thing that was supposed to be a little bit more outlandish and ridiculous, but it did not work here. Doctor Strange ends up winning his little musical battle against evil Doctor Strange.
Even though the other Doctor Strange had the Darkhold, I don't understand how you were strong enough to beat him, but not Wanda. But go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
Your guess is as good as mine. That was one of the things. I was like, it makes no sense. Like this dude has been
at all.
Yeah, this was such a missed opportunity for them to pull in What If Doctor Strange. I was convinced, again, trailers misleading here, convinced that this was evil Doctor Strange from What If. I was convinced. Nope. It's just another version of Doctor Strange who had been reading the Darkhold. I get they might not want to do stuff from other entries that not everybody has seen, but
they did though, because they had Captain Carter.
I know, no explanation for her. Like if you didn't know about What If, there's no way you would have understood why Peggy Carter was Captain America.
Right, this makes sense.
Yeah. So now our Doctor Strange, is like, okay, I gotta do it. I gotta do the bad thing. I gotta go dream walking. He goes dream walking into the body of that zombie that they buried at the beginning of the movie, to make this like zombie Doctor Strange thing. By doing so, he has like broken the cardinal rule of, I think the cardinal thing that he broke.
Yeah, was, like not messing with the dead, something like that.
So a bunch of spirits break out. He's got to fight those things, but he eventually gets them under control because he's the Sorcerer Supreme. He almost dies doing it, but Christine Palmer's there to give him that
hold his hand,
give him that go-to spirit. She's like, "You can do this," and he's like, "Oh shit, I can do this." And so he controls the evil spirits. Oh man, just explaining this is exhausting. Controls the evil spirits and flies off to go rescue America Chavez from Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does it. And then Wanda's like, I'm bad, I guess.
Oh, no. He does it by making America realize you've always had the ability to control your powers. It's been in you the whole time.
Ability. Right. So he actually loses his fight to Wanda.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot.
And then America starts fighting.
And then he's like, zombie Wanda, his ghosts have all been tamed by her magic because she's crazy powerful. And Zombie Strange is like down on the floor. And then America Chavez is like, I can't control it. And he's like, yes, you can. And then she just starts punching Wanda with the fists that open up star dimensions. And man, that was so stupid. That was so dumb. Wanda wasn't doing any of her magic or anything against her. She wasn't doing any of the tricks. She wasn't trying to mind control her. She was just taking the punches. She gets her ass beat. And then she realizes
that America opens a portal so that Wanda's kids can see her looking crazy. And then they hide behind the stairs, like behind the stair bars, like, Mommy!
Acting.
Like, classic. Why did you flee? They literally got off the stairs, fled to the other side of the stairs just to look through the bars and be scared. Like, you didn't go anywhere. Kids aren't this stupid.
Poor directing choices. That was definitely one of them.
Yes.
And yeah, so the way that Wanda's defeated is that she sees the monster that she's become throughout all of these escapades. She takes a little look in the mirror her other version of herself, the one that she had dream walked into, is like, it's okay, know that they are loved. And then our evil Wanda's like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm so evil, I won't be evil anymore. She tears down the walls of the cathedral around her as Doctor Strange and Zombie Strange is gone. America goes to get our Doctor Strange from the universe that they're in, and Wanda tears down the cathedral and presumably dies. It kind of looks like she dies because she like tears the thing down on herself, and we see like a red puff of magic dust come out when she's dead.
And then somehow that also destroys every Darkhold and every multiversal universe. What? Like, all right, it doesn't make sense.
Nope, that makes no sense.
And then Doctor Strange makes it home, and then he has a third eye for some reason.
And America Chavez is left at the
Kamartage
training to master,
to use magic for some reason.
Doctor Strange magic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doctor Strange goes back to his place. The movie closes out with a third eye on his head, which is what evil Doctor Strange had. The one who read the Darkhold also had a third eye. So
third eye. But also they do some corny guitar riff every time the third eye opens. Yeah, like okay.
Yeah, that was weird. And then the movie ends and we get the after credit scene of what's that actress's name? Not Gwyneth Paltrow.
Heidi?
Charlize Theron.
Thank you. All right.
Heidi Klum. Heidi Klum is much older.
I don't know what anyone looks like.
Charlize Theron is, I think her name is Klee, and she's basically a sorcerer from another universe who ends up being Doctor Strange's wife in some of the comics.
And the Sorcerer Supreme at some point.
And she's like, hey, you've caused an incursion. Are you going to fix it? And he's like, hell yeah. And she like takes a sword out. And she cuts a hole into what looks like the quantum realm.
I thought it was Dormammu's realm.
Oh, it could be his too. Into another realm. She cuts open the air into another realm and they go through it. And that is the ending of the end credits.
The only end that matters, because the other one is just
the other one's a teaser or a little nothing scene with Bruce.
Yeah, Ash and Evil Dead.
Yeah, fun. So
yay!
That took way longer to go through than I had wanted it to, but that is the movie in a nutshell. And yeah. I had issues with how I think my main issue with the movie was how it was advertised versus how it was portrayed. I think if I had gone into that movie with different expectations, I don't think I would have been as upset by the movie. The movie really failed to me because of how they I feel like it was false advertising. Like they made it seem like Wanda was going to be fighting alongside them. They made it seem like evil Doctor Strange was going to be more of a person in the movie. Like, I get that you don't want to give away the movie through the trailers. I hate when they do that too. But it just seems like in this case, they edited the trailer to just give the impression of an entirely different movie than the one that we got. So that was my primary issue with this nonsense.
I would have been fine if it just made sense. It kind of just wasn't good to me. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
The way they did Black Bolt and Reed Richards bothered me immensely. This just wasn't good.
I know that synopsis of the movie, like when you lay it all out like that, it makes it seem like a lot happened, but really didn't.
Wasn't that much.
That much happened. Like when we explained all that out just now, we were drawing out every scene that happened quite a bit. Just not that much happened in this movie because, like we said at the beginning, they give away the movie in the first 30 minutes. Like the whole thing is laid out, which is just not interesting to me as an audience member. There was no Nicole pointed out that the pacing was really off. There was no first, second, or third act. It was just kind of all one.
There was all in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah. That was the first
the first second
act, and then the third act was the remaining hour and a half of the
movie.
the
rest of the movie.
Because Wanda was chasing them for the rest of the movie.
Exactly. It was cringy and corny to me. Like when they said introduce you to the Illuminati and Doctor Strange is like, Illuminati? You are a doctor. You know what the word Illuminati means. So at this point, this is corny. And yep. I'm good. I did not like that movie. There was
some really bad writing.
The horror portion, like, this is not scary.
Mm-hmm.
This is very, like, it was just too corny for me. But to be fair, I just don't like Sam Raimi's stuff.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
I'm not going to watch Ash and Evil Dead. I have no reason to.
Here's the thing. I thought Spider-Man 1 and 2, the old ones with Tobey Maguire, were great movies. Particularly
but that's not
the second one.
They didn't do that in that style.
No, they didn't. But that's Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
So clearly he can do movies that are, generally accepted by normal people and not people that want to go see some like kitschy 80s horror action movie,
Yeah, but I'd watch that if the story made sense, if it was good. It just wasn't.
Even if the story had been everything that I thought it should have been, like from the trailers, like if it had been this crazy adventure that pulled together all these elements of the MCU, and like I was like, okay, this is our first foothold in post Thanos MCU, which is again what I thought we were going to get. We didn't. Even if all that had happened, the writing and the pacing and some of the acting were so bad, I still don't know that I would have given this movie above like a C. The movie sits at like a solid D minus. This might be my least favorite MCU movie. I need to go rewatch The Eternals because I can't figure out which one I like less. All I remember was that my expectations were so low for The Eternals that when I went and saw it, I was like, oh, I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst movie that I've ever seen. It was better than a lot of other non-MCU movies. It might be my least favorite MCU movie, but it's like whatever. I didn't feel like I wasted time by watching it. This movie, I think I wasted time by watching it. I think I'm just so mad. I just wish I could get that time back. I just wish that movie didn't exist. Whereas with The Eternals, I like a lot of what they set up, especially at the end of The Eternals, like with the end credits of The Eternals, where we get to meet Eros, Thanos' brother. The fact that we're talking about like the Jon Snow stinger, where he's like going to be the Black Knight. That movie made me really, really excited for like what next entries are going to do. Like the ending of the Eternals and the implications of the Eternals made me psyched. This movie just made me exhausted, where I was just like, all right, I don't want to go down this multiversal thread anymore. Please get me off this ride. Like I've been on this for too long. So yeah.
Yes, it is. I don't like that movie. So
all right. Well, listen, we've said everything that there is to say about Doctor Strange. So where do you place this one? This is your least favorite MCU film as well?
Yeah.
You think you're going to see it again? You think you would watch it again?
No.
I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around watching it. The only thing is fortunate that it's only 2 hours long. I
don't even know if I'll watch it on Disney Plus when it comes out. Like, I don't have any reason
to rewatch The Eternals, and I really want to rewatch Black Widow, because those were two relatively weak entries in my opinion, and I just kind of want to see where this stacks up. We have big things coming up with Thor. I'm excited for that. Candidly, if that movie sucks, this is going to turn into a hate podcast real quick, where we're just going to shit all over MCU movies, because I don't want that. I want to be the Marvel stan So yeah,
I'm jumping ship if that movie's not good.
We're going over to the DC. We're going to go watch Morbius on repeat, just over and over again.
Over and over again. The Sonyverse, whatever Sony puts out, I'm watching.
Into the Sonyverse.
Craven the Hunter. Can't wait. Black Cat. Oh boy.
Cat.
Which Spider-Man random villain are you making a standalone movie? I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm good. That movie wasn't good, so
no.
Yeah, that's it for me.
And Benedict Cumberbatch has said that he is done with acting for a little while. So I don't think that we are going to get another follow-up onto this for quite some time. If they're not even filming anything else with him in it for a while, it's going to be a couple years.
That's fine. He needs a break after that.
That's part of my issue right now, just broadly, with where we are with the MCU. I think this movie made me realize there are so many threads going in so many different directions. What I liked so much about the first saga of movies with the Thanos saga was all of the movies played a part into the big altercation at the end. They all had something to do with one of the Infinity Stones, except for, I guess, Captain America, the first Iron Man movie, and then the first Hulk movie. Those didn't necessarily have anything to do with the Infinity Stones, but they quickly all started to build into this. You know, those were Avengers building movies. Those movies built towards the Avengers. And then, of course, the first altercation in the Avengers was over 2 of the Infinity Stones. So that was great. That was a very well told thing where all of them tied into each other. You were really excited to see how they built into each other. Right now, we've got multiversal exploits. We've got this space stuff happening with the Eternals and Thanos' brother out there doing God knows what, and the Guardians of the Galaxy are out there, and Thor all flying around in space. I think I'm most excited for that. But then we also have this down to earth terrestrial stuff with what's her name, Hawkeye's new little apprentice girl. What is Hawkeye's? Kate Bishop. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Basically all that stuff that seems like it's going to have to do with Elaine's character, Elaine from Friends. Her building some kind of like anti-Avengers.
Madam
Hydra is that.
I mean, it should all tie together at some point. Because at the end of the day, all this should be Kang the Conqueror. That's fine. I don't mind that. Yeah, as long as it's good.
Tie into the multiverse stuff, into the terrestrial stuff, and to the intergalactic stuff, and there's going to be a way that they wrap that all in.
Yeah, Kang is already introducing
Loki.
Loki? So that's already the multiversal.
He's going to be the bad guy in the next Ant-Man movie,
right? Because of the quantum
mania
realm stuff. But the Guardians is probably Adam Warlock. By the time they finish Adam Warlock and adjust these teams, because they gotta do some adjusting and switch to whatever Black Knight and Blade, the name, whatever the name of that team is,
the
Midnight Suns,
Ghost Rider,
whatever's going on there. Yeah, Ghost Rider. So and then they gotta do the Fantastic Four and the Mutants movie, because those are already announced. As long as it's good, I'm fine. And I know we got a lot of shows and stuff.
Well, I think
coming up.
I think what disappoints me is that with all of these threads going out as far as they seem to be going out, I'm not seeing maybe it'll be in the next movie. Maybe Thor or maybe Quantumania will be what I was hoping this movie would be and start to bring some semblance to all these stories. But like the way that I'm looking at this right now is like we're not gonna get to see any tie-ins for like the next like 6 to 7 years, and that just feels like a little bit too much for me. That's starting to stretch a little too far. Like I don't want to wait that long to figure out where they're going with some of these stories.
Yeah, just enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy the scenery.
The ride when we get a Doctor Strange movie like this, where it's like all over the place, and yet still at the same time not all over the place enough. Like this was a hard one. This was a hard one for me to to move past. So
once you see Thor, you'll have a whole new outlook. It's like driving past like a trash plains. It's nothing but cows, and then you get to a nice view. That's Doctor Strange. Just nothing but cows, and as far as the eye can see, just pastures. Standing there. It's pastures, and then you get to like true grand mountains and lakes, and there's a cloud that looks like Jesus winking at you. That's beautiful. That's Thor.
Man, I think
that's what we're going toward.
You must have been taking something if that's what you saw out of Doctor Strange, because I saw a different movie.
I saw a terrible movie that I'm just done. I've never been watching it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Doctor Strange 3.
Yeah. I'm excited for that, but not this one. I'm just going to ignore it.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. All right, that does it on this one. Thank you guys for hanging out for Doctor Strange talk. If you're sticking around, we're going to talk about some Moon Knight next, but for those of you who are listening in on the podcast that we are recording at this moment, but you are listening to later, it's been real. Thank you guys. Hopefully our Thor review will be much more positive and we can come back and stand hard as we are meant to. Cameos does not stand for hate. We like to like these movies, but not the case for this one, unfortunately. All right. Let's bring it back. Let's talk about the other main event of last week, other than Doctor Strange's release, Moon Knight. For those of you guys who are just tuning in or listening, this is Cameo's weekly debrief on everything comic books, anime, movies, everything else. I am O'Shaughnessy.
Oh, and I'm Samson.
This guy's Samson. And we're going to talk about the final entry into Moon Knight. And I'm hoping that we're on the same page, at least a little bit, about this not being the biggest disappointment of the week. But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we'll the hate train will just continue to roll downhill. I don't think I can handle any more disappointment. So if you're gonna hate on this episode, I think you're gonna break my heart.
I'm not hating on it. It's just if I don't like something,
you got to be honest. I don't want you to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
I don't want you to be disingenuous. That's not what people are.
No, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, so Moon Knight episode 6, final episode into this short series. It seems like they're gonna do another season of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially with how they left it off. But they did send out a tweet promoting this last episode. The tweet originally had said, "Tune in for the series finale." They went back and changed that to season finale. So, that could just be them saving themselves if they want to film another one. But for reasons that we will get into, I definitely think they're filming some more of this Jimmy Jam moving forward, which I'm excited about. I like some of the characters we met. I thought it was a good story overall. Let's get into what happened in this last episode. So where did we leave off last week? Mark had died. Mark was laying in the pool of dirty tomb water, and he was in the Duat. Steven had fallen overboard and turned into a sandman, and Mark was left. Bless you.
Thank you.
Mark was left alone in a field of reeds. We open up on this week with Mark's body being taken out of the water back in the real world. Mr. Arthur Harrow has gotten the statue. So he's like, I don't need this anymore. Drops the little scarab beetle that was like their compass, drops that on Mark's chest, and not really sure why he did that. You live in a world where like you're literally being possessed by gods, and like resurrection is somehow off the table for you. Like, spoiler alert, Mark's coming back to life. That was just a silly thing. especially also considering that he must have known that Layla was hanging out around there. Like there was like 3 times in this episode where like Layla's like hiding behind like a plant in the middle of the living room where you're like, I can see you standing right there. So
I don't think he cared after he got through shot.
I think so too. I think he just like looked over. So like right after that, Tomb Raider Layla sneaking around, watching Harrow's cane turn into an axe for some reason. He's like, I've got the power. His cane is now an axe, and Layla just like grabs one of the dudes walking and just like murks him, and Harrow just like looks over and he's like,
doesn't matter.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah, doesn't matter. So, of course, Layla grabs said beetle. She mourns Mark because this is the first time she's been able to get out of her hiding spot and see his body because he's still got the bullets in him at this point. Yeah, I think leaving the beetle there was dumb. Layla grabs the beetle. She's like, I'm going to follow you. And she just follows Harrow and his guys out.
Yeah, I don't know why she needed the beetle.
The beetle leads to the statue.
Right, but she was with
also
them.
Right behind them. Yeah, she was walking like 10 feet behind them.
But she dressed up as one of the dudes.
The worst disguise ever. She like pulled her shirt over her head and she was like, woo, you can't see me. It was really funny. I had a lot of nitpicks, I think, with this episode, you know, just to set the tone. There was a bunch of little weird loopholes like this where I'm just like, huh? Like, what? But at the end of the day, I think I really liked it because the ending was pretty dope. So we get a scene change here, and Harrow and the boys, I didn't write this, cruising down the road. 12 stops them. He uses the staff. What is 12?
Oh, that's the police.
Oh, okay.
12 is the police.
Okay. I definitely 12 stops them. He uses the staff to judge the souls of all the cops. All of them die except one because the police are apparently corrupt. I mean, it is in like Egypt. I don't know that they're known to have the most like upstanding police force. Layla pulls a blade out, ready to stop Harrow.
I don't know why she thought this was.
She want to stab this man. Doctor Strange, if we've learned anything, in Doctor Strange, anybody can just walk up with a knife and ruin the main character's whole plot device. Like,
that's true. That's how they got rid of Darkhold.
They got rid of the Darkhold. Just some student was like, ah! And just like stabs the Darkhold. It was like, dude, this book was written on like the skin of a god. Anyway, we're not talking about Doctor Strange anymore.
Go ahead.
All right. So my commentary on this scene where he judges all the cops and the cops die, I was like, dude, what a gamble that all the cops were evil and that you were going to kill all of them. Cause like they stop them and they're like, these dudes are literally ready to pull the trigger. Like at any moment, he's got a gun in Harrow's face, like a big like AK. And Harrow's just like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You need to show me your soul. And he like does the Arise chicken thing from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And he like slams his staff into the ground and all of their souls get yoinked out of them except for one guy. But like, what if like 3 of them didn't? And I guess, you know, I don't know. We could talk about this a little bit later, but like the judgment here does not seem like it's actually judging people who are evil versus not.
It's what they will if in their future they would do something evil.
I guess
it's going to immediately get them out the way.
Okay, but what about how evil all of his followers are, like shooting at the people in the bus when they're like trapped? Like I think it's my problem with the judgment of evil. We can talk about it since it's a big part in this scene. The judgment of evil, I'm pretty sure, is what Amit deems to be evil, because she very much is like, oh, Harrow, you're helping me out, so like your evil doesn't matter. And it's like, we know that he did screwed up things in his past. We know that he's doing screwed up things right now. But it's like Amit is just like, It seems like the judgment is really less about like generally accepted ethics and more about just like what is convenient for the god and who she wants to have as followers. Those who she doesn't deem worthy as followers seem to be judged as unworthy.
Okay, that's fair.
That's kind of where I feel at the end of the series with it. So as Layla's about to go up and stab Mr. Harrow with the knife, Tawaret, our talking hippo friend, goddess, temporary goddess of the Duat, starts possessing dead bodies to talk to Layla and stop her. She's like, hey, this isn't Doctor Strange. You can't just end it with a knife. Tells her that Mark can return to life, but he needs Khonshu. So to break his Ushapti, which we know is back in the Pyramid of Giza, where he got trapped in like episode 2 or 3 or 4. Tells Layla to get her to be an avatar, but Layla wants no part. She's like, nah, I've seen how that life is. I don't want to be anybody's avatar. Still confused why Tawaret is the like goddess of the death.
Yeah, I am too. I just left it alone.
She's supposed to be the goddess of fertility and childbirth, and yet
she is. She says she is.
Yeah,
so.
and for some, she is that, but she is also some reason ferrying people in the afterlife. I don't know.
No, I think she was filling in, but just the fact that she was talking through dead bodies.
But for who? Who was she filling in for, and why was that person not here? That was never touched on.
They don't explain it, but I think it's we talked about that last week. She was definitely filling in for somebody, and she has been for at least as long as Layla's dad has been dead.
Isn't it supposed to be Anubis?
Should be, yes. And I don't know why she's filling in for him. But
womp womp. I don't know.
Yeah,
that was not a plot hole, but
this is weird.
It was a weird.
I ignored it.
It was a weird omission to why she was filling this role. We never get an answer to that. Maybe season 2. Probably not. They're back at the pyramid. Layla followed him back with her indistinguishable disguise. Useless avatars square up and die immediately because they are trash. Layla finds the shadow team while the avatars are getting washed, which it's lucky that she had that long to find them because, dude, what is going on? Why were they so weak? Wasn't the main one supposed to be like Osiris?
Yeah, the explanation is that they're not warriors. So if you're not a warrior, you just Harrow one-shots you.
Amit is a warrior?
No, but Harrow is a warrior. It's their avatars can't fight. Harrow can fight, so that was enough explanation for
Harrow wasn't even fighting most of the time. He was just shooting his saber and summoning jackals. Like, you're telling me that none of these other guys can defend themselves with some kind of magic? Nicole was so mad at that part. She was like, what the hell? Like, the gods just got washed.
In their most powerful place.
They're basically like in their Mecca. Like, it's like Odin standing at the throne of Asgard, like wielding Mjolnir. Like, it's just like you have the epitome of all that's supposed to make them powerful. And Harrow just walks in and he's like, the gods have been holding back on us. And then just they're all dead.
Yeah.
Very stupid. Harrow frees Amit from her Ushapti. That was a high quality CGI gator. The CGI in this episode was like, woo, top tier. That you could tell that was where all the budget for the CGI for this season went. I mean, they were
all right there.
That one, but she looked good. And we
definitely
should mention that Tawaret, the giant talking hippo, I was convinced that was a giant talking hippo. No complaints there with any of that CGI. Harrow's sucking up, brown nosing to the giant alligator goddess that he has now summoned, ready to die because his scales lack balance. But as we were just saying, Amit doesn't kill him because his scales lack balance because of her, which seems very convenient. And I think, again, she's just making up who dies and who doesn't. So his death is delayed, as she puts it, because Alexander the Great failed her. Oh, that's right. I forgot that was her last avatar. And his scales had balanced perfectly. So she makes mention here of like, I don't want a perfectly balanced warrior because my last one put me in a goddamn statue for 1,000 years. So no thanks. But again, that all leads to this, like, it's not actually about judging people about whether they're good or bad. It's about judging them whether Amit wants them alive or not. And if they're good, then
I think so. Or I think her metric is like very skewed.
Sure.
Like it has to be something specific that she doesn't like. And then that means you're out of balance. And before you do this specific thing, you gotta go.
She doesn't like
something like
she
that.
Doesn't like old ladies and cops, so they all gotta go.
They all gotta go. I wonder what could that old lady have done?
Yeah.
Just watching what did she do?
Filthy porn. Just going home and watching filthy porn.
Side note: this is like that episode of remember Rick and Morty when they were trying to figure out why this cat could talk, and then they look into his mind and then see all of this like dark stuff that the cat had done, and like it makes Rick throw up. And then like, we gotta kill it. They kill the cat, and then Morty's dad has his mind erased. So funny. That's what the old lady had to have done. It had to have been that extreme.
Filthy. Oh God, Jesus!
Like she has to go. Well, yeah, my bad. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so. Yeah, what I already said, what I wanted to say here about Amit's version of good not really being good. It's whatever she judges it to be. So, Layla, in her little side story, frees Khonshu, sneaks in, sneaky Tomb Raider style, breaks open the avatar. Khonshu's free, tries to get Layla to be his avatar, but Layla's not rocking. They need an avatar to rebind Amit. But Layla's still not rocking. Khonshu has to throw his own hands with Amit. After everyone sees Khonshu, Hera realizes that someone's there. Oh my God. No way. So he sends some goons to go find her. He's like, somebody must have broken the statue. It's like, yeah, man, the fucking girl that followed you from the tomb who was like 10 feet behind you this whole time. She literally copped a ride on the back of your truck. Like,
and the fact that the goons never even, they don't even get close to finding her.
No.
That really bothers me.
Go find
her. It's like, what was the point in sending them?
Yeah, that was kind of pointless. It was a weird throwaway line that had no, bearing on what was to come because
at all.
Well, before we get there, Amit calling out Khonshu looking like shit might be a comic book callback because in the comics we do see Khonshu in like a flashback to when he was in ancient Egyptian times, actually having feathers and eyeballs and skin, whereas now he looks a lot worse for wear, and Amit probably looks relatively the same, but Amit has been locked away for all this time. Amit's been out there doing work, being the dissociative identity Batman that he has been for all of these years. So that is clearly taken its toll. We switch over to Mark in the field with Taweret, and he's standing there. He's like, where's Steven? He got turned to sand, dude. He doesn't want peace without Steve, so he goes back for him, giving up eternal peace. Mark sees Steven's sand body like laid out in the sand where we left him. Got the ultimate bromance move here. Him going back. He's like, I don't want to die without my bro. Flashback to Khonshu and Amit talking. Khonshu really hates Hera. Mark talking to Steven as he rejoins the cast of Dune. Mark puts his heart in Steven's hand, and they both turn back from the sand gate after Osiris opens the main gate. So a little back and forth here. We keep switching back and forth between scenes. The bromance is real between Mark and Steven. He's like, you are the other half of me. It's weirdly like a Loki moment where he's like loving himself. It's a lot of self-love lately in MCU. I respect it. The gate opens. They run through. Khonshu versus Amit back in the Pyramid of Giza. Khonshu has no faith in the Elden Ring, so he's getting washed.
If you're no faith build in Elden Ring, you're losing every fight. You need faith.
To Mark and Steven trying to run through the gate, and Taweret saves them from a dune wave with the boat. Mark and Steven get to run through the gate. That brings them back to life. Khonshu is like, oh, Mark's alive. Zip zop zoobity bop. He pops over, repossesses Mark. He's like, yo, Mark, do you want to not die? Mark's like, let's do it. Let's finish the damn thing. Mark's back in the suit. Mark then leaves the cave, and Khonshu and Mark / Steven talk. Mark and Steven switching back and forth pretty easily. You got Steven, the lawyer, trying to litigate, trying to make sure that after they finish their dealings with Amit, that he will free both of them. Keywords with both being there, both only two. Mark and Moon Knight, Khonshu agrees, and he's like, let's finish this and I'll let you go. You don't have to be my avatar anymore. Mark and Moon Knight fly off when Khonshu is just like, yo, the gods are all dead. I'm gonna fuck with the sky some more. It's just like, again. No, stop me now. Scene changes to Layla with Osiris. She asks how to stop Amit while Osiris's avatar is dying. Oh, Osiris, what a waste. He explains that Amit needs to be sealed in a mortal form because apparently a mortal form is more fragile than a little statue. But they need more avatars to do it because all of them just got yeeted into the afterlife.
What I assumed they meant there was that if you put them in a mortal form, you can kill the mortal form, which would also kill the god.
Okay.
If it's an Upshati, if you destroy it, it just frees the god.
Okay.
But it ties the life together.
If they're bound to another soul. All right.
Yeah, like they're bound to the soul.
Okay. Sure. So they say they're gonna do that. The avatar of Osiris dies. Layla agrees. Then Tawaret possesses the avatar of that god, and she's like, "Hey, sure you don't want to be my friend?" And Layla's like, "Let's do the damn thing." She screams and is elated like a dumbass. Harrow just destroys a pillar to kill Layla because he's like, she's over there. But now,
right, which the goons couldn't find for some reason.
Yeah, the goons didn't. I think Harrow was like, go find her, and the goons were like, nah, man, this is above my pay grade. There's a giant talking alligator here. I need to just question everything. Harrow destroys a pillar to kill Layla, who is now the temporary avatar of Tawaret. Tawaret talks about meeting Layla's father at the Field of Reeds. Why can't this god resurrect his people? Like, why is Osiris not able to bring his avatar back to life like Khonshu does with Mark like 6?
Or what though? His avatar can't fight. Like, bring him back so he can die again with one hit.
I guess.
Oh,
The powers of the gods are just like kind of really confusing in this.
You gotta pick and choose who you want to res when the game's
yeah,
on
maybe he was out of reses. They had like a team res and they had used them all up. Maybe. Dude, I don't know. That was kind of like, that was one of those moments where I was just like, the gods all dying was pretty lame to me. No gods square up, but we didn't have time for that. We had to get down to business. Scene changes and Harrow is at the top of the pyramid messing with the sky. That's a big no-no. We know that only Khonshu can do that, and even he gets yelled at. Telling his followers to judge everyone, and so they go into the city of Egypt, or not the city. What's the city called? What's the city right next to the pyramids called?
Giza?
Maybe.
Is it not?
Is the city called Giza, or are they just the pyramids of Giza?
The pyramids of Giza. Or I don't know. I only know
into
Cairo.
That city that is right. Oh, maybe it is Cairo.
Oh, it is Cairo.
It's Cairo.
Okay.
It's a jackal. It's a city of jackals. So
yeah,
they go through Cairo.
Thank you, chat. Cairo.
And oh man, what the hell? We don't all go to college, chat. Okay, some of us.
Oh no, I definitely went to college. I just don't.
Some of us haven't been to college in a while.
I know math, not cities.
They start taking hands and souls. They all got the tattoos, so they're all judging people. Amit is eating said souls. I was kind of surprised that this wasn't what was happening all along. Like, I kind of had thought at the beginning of the series that every time Harrow was judging a soul, it wasn't going down into the Duat. It was going into Amit to make her more powerful.
Yes.
They're doing it now.
Because she devours the souls.
So she's devouring all these extra souls.
Yes.
Layla revealed in the dope ass suit the pillar did not crush her. She must be stronger than Captain Marvel because pillars don't kill her. She comes out with the wings of a beetle. She's a red beetle scarab kind of thing. She looks a lot like Falcon. His gimmick is pretty much done at this point. We got people flying all over the place with wingsuits now. So she looked dope. I thought it was a pretty dope looking costume.
She did, but I'm unsure why a hippo gives you wings and blades.
So there is not any tie-in to Taweret for that
at all. I know what the costume is and what it means. It just has nothing to do with Taweret.
No,
and you didn't need Taweret then. It just bothered me.
I'm just again confused why the goddess of fertility has anything to do with this. Couldn't they have picked some other, like the god of beetles or something? I don't know. It was a weird choice. Because a hippo and a beetle are very far from it. And Khonshu, so for, just to play devil's advocate, Khonshu is a bird thing, and there's no like Moon Knight doesn't have like a giant beak or anything. I mean, I guess he's got like a cape sort of wings thing, but he is generally all white like the moon. There's a tie in there, right? Whereas with Layla and the hippo equals beetle. I don't know. She's the red scarab. It's a tie into the comics. It looks dope.
Scarlet Scarab.
Scarlet Scarab. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a cool costume. Powers were cool. She basically was just Falcon, with like god powers. So.
Oh, and side note, I know the director did not intend for Scarlet Scarab to be the name of like Layla's hero form, but that is what was planned by Marvel. I read something along those lines. So like he just knew we needed an Egyptian superhero, and then I think the plan was always to make Layla the Scarlet Scarab, like so she's a tie-in because her father is the original Scarlet Scarab in the comics.
In the comics,
his son,
in the movies.
Yeah, the comics, his son becomes Scarlet Scarab. But they made a decision to tie Layla's character into the wife of Mark Spector, and then the son of the Scarlet Scarab. So combine that, but he didn't intend for like her hero name to actually be Scarlet Scarab. That's something Marvel had in mind. They kind of just told you, yeah, this is going to be Scarlet Scarab.
Okay.
So do what you do.
Do it. Well, it worked. It was fine. It was cool.
Yeah, it's fine. It's how you get there is kind of like
the hippo to beetle again.
Yeah.
I'm not really tracking, but whatever. I mean, as far as like grievances go, that was not at the top of my list. Mark swoops in. We're back at the pyramid. Mark is flown in. Harrow's at the top, just telling all of his people to do bad things, go do hood rat things with your friends and go judge all the people. Mark swoops in with the tiger knee, hits Harrow over the chin. Fight scene with Mark and Steven switching whilst fighting Harrow in midair, and then Khonshu slaps Mitt with the cane. So like there's like this switching back and forth. This was this like duality between the fight between Mark and Harrow, and then the fight between Amit and Khonshu. And by the way, they're like kaiju level things. They're like massive. Amit has eaten like 5 souls, so she's the size of a building now. I don't know why, but she's huge. Therefore, Khonshu is now huge. Kaiju fight. It was cool. There hasn't been anything really like that in the MCU of like giant things fighting yet, so it was cool. Again, great CGI. Let's see. Amit doesn't understand why Khonshu won't just work with her, but she's crazy, so she's not rocking. Harrow smacks Mark slash Steven. Layla saves him in her new badass costume. Mark and Layla reunite, and Steven ruins the moment Khonshu remarks that he fights because it's his choice, something Amit took away from others. So that sort of highlights the big difference between these two. Like, Khonshu's not necessarily a really good guy, but he lets people choose and then he judges them, whether it's like the meme where Batman like sees you litter and he breaks both of your legs. That's kind of what he's doing. But he lets you make the choice. He doesn't break your legs before you try to go litter. So we get that different one. Also, this huge kaiju fight, I guess just fuck the pyramids, because like they're just like pushing each other into the pyramids. But like, I was like, oh my god, those are like ancient structures. But I think at this point, the MCU has pretty much just been like, the Earth is just a playground, because you got giant things coming out of the planet and alien invasions every couple months. So fuck it. One of the ancient wonders of the world. It's fair game. Again, epic fight scene. Steven can fight now. They're switching back and forth. Layla's blocking bullets. Mark and Steven and Layla jumping this man. But Harrow Strong attacks some innocents, and then Layla goes to save her people as the Egyptian superhero caps, all caps. There was a little corny moment there.
Oh, where she asks, "Are you an Egyptian?" The little girl asks.
They had to do it.
Like,
fun. It didn't remove me as much as I think it might have bothered some other people, because it was just a little like, it was pandering for sure. But what are you gonna do? We are PC. Disney PC.
I assume like Disney's about to turn Epcot Center into Marvel superhero land. And, you go around the world, it's going to be a superhero for every food you try in this area.
Look at you. You could be the head of marketing over at Disney.
I want to go. I got the gift.
I want to go to this Epcot. I think it would have been... Sorry,
go ahead.
No, you go.
No, go ahead. Me?
Yes,
all right.
You.
So I wanted to say I think that Steven and Mark share, when they shared the heart and got turned back, I think that led into them sharing like these attributes between each other, because Steven can now very clearly fight in a way that he could not fight before.
Yeah.
So I think now, as they're switching back and forth seamlessly, I think like Mark has that Egyptian, archaeologist knowledge that Steven has. Steven has the fighting abilities that Mark has. They're like interchangeable.
I wish that the show had been a little bit longer, like maybe an episode or two more, because or maybe just this episode had been a little bit longer. This was a shorter one. I thought it would have been cool if they had expanded a bit more on the differences in their fighting. Have Steven be more of a boxer, like how they kind of like lead him up to be like a melee hand-to-hand person. Right now they're kind of all just doing everything, which was cool, and it served the purpose of this scene, because we had to see them.
Yeah.
They're bromances, dude. They got the same heart, like they're on the same team, they're fighting with the same brain. I thought it was good, but like in the comics, Mr. Knight, who is Steven's Moon Knight in the MCU, fights very differently than like Moon Knight proper, who basically has all the gadgets and gear. And we got to see some of that here, which was cool. We got to see the grappling hook.
Yeah. Although he can fly, why do you need a grappling hook?
Yeah.
But okay.
So in the comics again, at least historically, Moon Knight didn't have like god powers. His like he did have god powers, but like his gadgets and his weapons were all basically manufactured. Like he was like Batman, so he had a shit ton of money. They were all Batman version or Moon Knight versions of Batman gear. So he had the grappling hook. His wing suit was like an actual like suit that he manufactured and built. It was like a little what's the word I'm looking for? Paraglider kind of thing. But in this one, he can fly and can take spears to the chest, and his stuff is all clearly like, manifested from the gods. So the grappling hook was a weird inclusion. I just kind of wish that we'd see more of a disparity between like what Moon Knight does and what Mr. Knight does. I hope if there's another season that they kind of define those a little bit more. Because like right now it's like what's the point in having both other than they're different persons. But when you're fighting, I don't care.
I think it would be cool though to have it when they're fighting too. So as they switch between their fighting styles, so like Steven's boxing and weaving, it's like a Lei Wulong on Tekken. And he switches styles mid stance. I think that would look cool.
Really cool. They sort of did that a tiny bit here, but not really. It was basically
they didn't really do it.
It was basically like Steven's doing his moves, Moon Knight's doing his moves, but there wasn't like a style. I think what you just said would be awesome to see play out. I could definitely see some cool shots with that. So, all right. After the fight, well, continuing the fight, Harrow shoots a unibeam at Mark and Steven, who block it, but Harrow's strong. So Layla tries to save him, but gets stuck to a car. Yeah, that was weird. Harrow goes to end things as we see Amit stab Khonshu. Gunners are only shooting at Layla's head, which is convenient because she's blocking those with her wings, but her legs are wide open and so they're not getting it because these are the worst goons. Harrow starts sucking the life from Mark and Steven like Shang Tsung. Mark and Steven black out and everyone is dead besides Harrow. So we get a blackout scene here. Mark and Steven and Layla are confused, but they're like, we don't have time to figure that out. They take Harrow back to the pyramid to start that spell. There were some really cool shots in there. I do love the cuts of blacking out that we see throughout this, like when the music is at its like height and then it's like and it like really jarringly cuts out and then it like snaps back in. I think that's a really cool way to like show him blacking out. I think it's really effective, and I am really blown that we didn't get to see Mr. Jacob in action.
Yeah, I wish at least this time we could have seen.
This would have been cool.
Yeah,
just to see. What I'm thinking is like, so this is obviously Jake Lockley, the third personality, who we'll get to in just a minute, who is finally confirmed at the very, very, very end. Is he gonna have a new suit? I think they got to give him a different suit. They've already established that Steven, when he's Moon Knight, is always that Mr. Knight persona, and then Mark, when he takes over, is always the more traditional Moon Knight looking bro. I hope they give Jake Lockley something entirely else. They could make him be one of Khonshu's other avatars in the comics. It's this oh my god, what's his name? He basically he calls Mark the right fist and he's like, I'm Khonshu's left fist. And he's like, and it's basically Moon Knight's outfit, but it's all black instead of white. And he goes to
that's probably what they'll do.
And I'm thinking maybe they'll just instead of having that whole separate character be that guy who's basically just an evil version of Moon Knight, they'll just make that be Jake Lockley's.
That'd be good. And it makes sense.
That would be cool. I think that would be a good play on that. We'll have to wait till the next season to see that though, but we're not there yet. So Layla, Mark, Harrow are in the tomb again. Harrow's still like passed out. They know they got to bind the soul to him, so they start the spell to turn Harrow into a Ushabti. Khonshu shows up. They do turn Harrow into a Ushabti. Amit gets sucked out of the big kaiju fight and into Harrow's body. Khonshu pops in and he's like, yo, Mark, you got to finish it. Layla's like, nah, bro, you got a choice because he's free and the choice is vengeance. Mark tells Khonshu to do it himself, and Mark demands Khonshu releases him. It's kind of, I wasn't sure that he fulfilled his end of the bargain there because I thought he had to kill Amit to fulfill his end of the deal, but Khonshu goes along with it. Khonshu's like,
because I think at that point the deed is done. You can kill Amit, but you can do it in the same way. I think it ties back to earlier where like Khonshu was like, I don't take away choice. All right, well, like now Mark has a choice. He doesn't want to do it. You can do it. So Yeah, I think he fulfilled his duty. They
Yeah.
stopped him at do
Yeah.
it yourself.
Well, and also we learned that Khonshu wasn't totally being 100% honest with Mark and Steven to begin with.
Yeah.
So he was like, all right, don't worry about it. You don't got to kill him. And then he lets Mark and Steven go, and they are no longer possessed by Khonshu. Steven appears back in the organizing principle, back in this like metaphor for whether things going on are actually in his head or not. We get Dr. Harrow back there. Except now it seems like Steven and Mark are like, okay, we're on the same page. We've come to grips. Steven's talking to Dr. Harrow, Mark and Steven switching back and forth seamlessly. And they start to see the cracks in this like metaphor. Steven sees the bloody shoes. What is that word that you wrote?
Louboutins?
Louboutins?
Those are red bottoms.
Just a little. Yeah. Steven and Mark wake up. So yeah, they basically are like, we think we know what's real. And Dr. Harrow's like, oh, I guess I'm a figment of your imagination after all. Mark and Steven wake up in the flat with the two fish. Oh, I didn't catch that. There were two fish.
Two fish
still chained to the bed. Yeah, I assume that the clinic with Dr. Harrow is a big metaphor for Mark's inner conflict. I guess once he's come to terms with it, he can wake up out of it, something like that. I'm not entirely sure how this metaphor makes complete sense, but I mean, like, I get what they were going for.
Because I think in the organizing principle, it was either you are Mark Spector, or this other stuff is real and is happening, and you have Steven and this other personality, all this other stuff is going on. So either believe that this is real, believe that this is real. And I think he chose that the world that, where he beat Ahmet and saved the day and all that stuff, that was real. So in the organizing principle, you get back to Dr. Harrow. Now let's merge this. I don't need this anymore. Yeah. Okay. That's why you were the walking in glass thing from the first episode. That's why your feet are bloody, because all that was real. Later Gators. He's out of there.
Later Gators. So yeah, they're out of that now. They've come to grips with themselves, literally. Then we get a post-credit scene of Harrow in an actual mental institution. We're in the real world now, and this is not Dr. Harrow. This is Arthur Harrow, drugged out of his mind. Man speaking Spanish takes him in his wheelchair, whistling. We pass a bunch of dead bodies as Harrow is taken into a limo. The nurse who gives him over is like, what? And he's just like, don't worry about it. And she's like, okay. So he just walks out with Harrow. Who do we see in the back of the limo? None other than Khonshu in his best looking finery. Harrow remarks that Khonshu can't hurt he and Amit. Khonshu remarks that he never wanted anyone else as his avatar. It was always only Mark. And who turns around in the driver's seat? Who was the one wheeling out not Dr. Harrow, Arthur Harrow? It is Mark Spector, except he is now introduced as Jake Lockley. And he looks evil. And he's like an evil taxi driver. And he turns around with a pistol. Pop, pop. Shoots Harrow a couple times in the chest. The deed is definitely done. And we find out that Khonshu got to retain his avatar after all. Albeit through some shisty methods.
I think in that scene it made me think, so in the previous scene, before the credits, the Mark and Steven, they're still tied to the bed. Yeah. Like they're still chained. So I thought about seeing Jake Lockley, and I was like, all right, well, maybe Jake wasn't there for all the transformative, things that happened for Mark and Steven.
Yeah, because so he doesn't know. Chained to the bed doesn't make any sense after everything's said and done.
Yeah, like so who would do that other than Jake, who wasn't there for all that? So
yeah,
he probably went so they wouldn't be aware or he assumes like, oh, they gotta be tied to the bed, blah blah. This is what used to happen before, so he did it. And boom, here we are. Third personality jumping in their life again. Because as soon as they fall on the floor, it's like where the episode ends.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene we get is Jake doing stuff that he's not supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what was happening there, and that's what we're going to see next season is
you think Jake
conflict
is,
with
you think
Jake.
Jake is messing with him. Well, not messing with him, but he's trying to set it up so that they think that they're where they're supposed to be. He doesn't know anything about the epiphanies, so he's just trying to set things back so that he can continue to do his dealings in the background. It could be.
Yeah.
It could have just been like a clever little tie back to the beginning.
It could have, but I think I'm going to assume it's intentional, and I think it's a good way to set up like the plot
that Jake has been doing all this stuff in the background without either of their knowledge. So even though they've come to terms with themselves, now they have this other third persona who neither of them get along with. They can agree on that.
Yeah. And it prompts them to go and look into this since, we shouldn't be chained here. I didn't do it. Did you do it? No, I didn't do it either. All right. So someone else is here. We got to figure this out.
Yeah. That was cool. I liked it. If we get a second season, I definitely think we'll be exploring that a little bit more. So what were your overall thoughts on last episode? And then we'll talk about the series as a whole.
Fan service doesn't do it for me. So kind of, I need like, in the same way for like Doctor Strange, it didn't have a good plot or story. I think this last episode of Moon Knight kind of didn't really do it for me.
Okay.
Too many things that didn't make sense, like too much fan service.
What was fan service in your opinion?
Definitely the Scarlet Scarab.
Okay.
Because it just that whole Tower thing didn't make sense. Say it again?
I don't think that many people know who the Scarlet Scarab is. It was a pretty obscure hero.
Yeah, but the Egyptian superhero introduction is...
Okay, so you just mean making her a superhero was just them trying to be like, oh, shit, kind of thing?
Yeah, which is fine. It's just I don't like how they did it because the Tower does it. It just didn't make sense to me.
I can see that. I can see that. It didn't distract me that much. I didn't get that hung up on her being turned into a superhero, but yeah, I agree. The hippo turning her into a beetle warrior.
Yeah,
there's no connection there whatsoever. So that was overall. See, so for me,
not just that, but other things too.
We talked about all of them, all of the little inconsistencies throughout the episode, or like the weird lack of decisions that it seems like they needed to make. The gods dying weirdly out of nowhere. While I have my problems with this episode, I think overall this did a good job to tie everything together from the season. You had Layla, who completely didn't want anything to do with the Avatar thing after seeing what it had done to Mark, which we got built up through the entirety of the season, where she was like, I lost the man I love as my husband, and it was because of this Avatar thing. So when Taweret is like, hey, you can be my avatar, and she has to come to grips with that, I thought that was a very good little short arc that she went through in this episode that sort of tied into the overall, like, her feelings on what she's learned about Khonshu since she found out that that's a thing. I appreciated that, and I thought that was cool that she ended up doing it out of necessity, and the costume ended up looking really dope. So I thought that was really, really cool. I thought the fighting was some of the best that we've seen in a while. Like, there were some pretty cool fight scenes. I really liked when Steven, when they were going back and forth in that fight with Harrow, and then he turns into Steven, and then he like does this move and he like brushes off his shoulder, and it seems like he's about to do something really cool, and then Harrow just like Spartan kicks him like through three walls. I thought that was really funny. there were some cool sequences where they were doing like the joint fighting stuff. I thought the big fight actually looked really cool between Khonshu and Amit. The CGI was great. You got Ethan Hawke just being devilishly good at what he does. Just being the best version of a villain. I overall liked it. I know that I had a lot of little nitpicks with things and some silly decisions, but I thought it was very well directed for what they had, and I don't know. The whole thing was titillating to me, and it capped everything off.
I don't even know why they had the CG fight. Like, it looked cool, but why do you need this?
Just to show the comparison between, like, oh look, these guys are fighting because these guys are fighting. They were like, it was a 1-to-1 of like the avatars are clashing and the gods are clashing.
Why did you even need the avatars if the gods could talk freely? Like, Khonshu and Amit could project and talk freely in the pyramid without their avatars being there. So why'd you need the avatars in episode 2 or whatever episode that was?
Yeah.
When the gods could have just talked freely. Like, stuff like that just bothers me.
Yeah, there were a bunch of little weird things, particularly when it came to the gods and the avatars. That whole dynamic, I think they could have fleshed out a little bit better, but at the end of the day, I found myself more entertained than I had like questions. Like, I wasn't sitting there being like, what the hell? I was just like, oh damn, that was dope. So that's how I want to feel at the end of these. And I think this entry probably falls. So I think Loki is still my favorite of the MCU shows. I think Loki was consistently the best for beginning to end. I'm curious if anybody is actually listening in chat where this one falls. I know we got some haters who hate everything that the MCU does these days, but like, where would you rank this one amongst the other ones?
Between Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then this.
Okay, so this is like fourth?
Yeah. I wasn't even naming it in order, but yeah, this is fourth for me. And then, Hawkeye also.
Below Hawkeye? This one is below Hawkeye? Oh man.
That's
chat brutal. Chat is brutal.
I don't think they're terrible. Like, they're all okay. Loki is definitely the best. Hawkeye was at the bottom for me.
I think for me it is Loki, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, What If.
Oh, I don't count What If.
Oh, I think you should count it.
If we're counting What If is like first for me, and then Loki. Yeah, I love What If.
Every episode of What If was great. The Party Thor episode was pretty piss weak in my opinion. There were like 1 or 2 episodes that I was like, this is just dumb. Okay, so hold on, I gotta go back. Loki, WandaVision, and then I think Moon Knight for me, and then Falcon, Winter Soldier. I don't know. Those two might be tied for third. And then What If is right behind those. And then Hawkeye. Hawkeye's the bottom for me, for sure. Am I missing one? I feel like I might be missing a show in there. Not one.
No.
Not one that I can think of.
No.
Okay. So it was just a disappointing week for Marvel for Sam last week, apparently.
Yeah, definitely.
None of the highs that we wanted to leave on. I frankly had a good time with Moon Knight. So that one was at least good. Moon Knight definitely made up for a little bit of the shit that Doctor Strange pulled. But what's the next thing we got on the docket? We got Thor: Love and Thunder coming out in July.
And then Miss Marvel.
Is Miss Marvel before that? or after that? I really don't think I care about Miss Marvel at all.
Wow, don't do that. Confirm. Sean hates women.
I like the scare. I like the beat.
It's June. Miss Marvel's next month, so it comes out before Thor.
Okay, so Miss Marvel, then Thor.
Then
I think She-Hulk is supposed to come out this year, but I don't think we have a time on that yet. We'll probably, I imagine, maybe after Miss Marvel, we'll get like a trailer and a release date for She-Hulk. Which, since I've been reading comics, I think I'm really excited because that character is pretty dope. It's basically like Hulk who can control the rage a little bit more, but sometimes she still does rage out. So I think I'm pretty excited to see what they do for that. I don't know who they cast for her, but we do know that Wong is doing some shit with Abomination, and I'm assuming that's going to come into play a little bit. I don't know, man. There's a lot more projects to come. So despite the recent disappointments, I still like to think back onto successful projects that we've seen thus far in the post Thanos MCU. No Way Home was stellar in my opinion. What else did we have that was very, very good? We had some really good TV shows with like Loki and again WandaVision, What If. So yeah, just forget about the Eternals and try to wash Doctor Strange out of your brain. Try to wash those sick guitar riffs out of the brain.
So annoying. It's extra annoying.
Closing thoughts, concerns, questions.
We got the most important scene in the episode.
Oh, our debate. I didn't
we
even
gotta
think
do
about
it.
Oh, dude, I wasn't prepared. I'm not prepared this week.
Yeah, prepared. It's fine. I didn't like the episode that much, but I can I can argue with scene.
We can put that one on pause. We can put the debate on pause this week. Maybe we can come back next week with something fresh to riff off of. This has been an extra long episode anyway. We are well over the 2-hour mark at this point. So
because we've been griefing.
That's exactly what I didn't want to do this week was come in here and just shit talk the entire time, and that's exactly what we ended up doing. It is what it is, man. You know, we come to tell the people the truth, and if the truth hurts, well, that's just, it is what it is.
Our truth, like if you like the film or you like the show, I'm not like judging you, or I don't care. Glad you enjoyed it. Just for me personally,
I wish I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I do too. I wish I enjoyed it too. It just wasn't for me.
I enjoyed Moon Knight. I know that our friends are judging me for that.
It's fine.
I'm waiting for Steely Dan to come into the chat one of these days so I can immediately ban him.
Permaban. Out the gate.
All right, y'all. That is going to do it from us this week, and that is going to put a close on our Moon Knight thoughts. Maybe we'll do a retrospective or something like that. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. What are we talking about?
Come find out.
Come find out
on Monday.
We might be talking about we're gonna try to stick to Mondays. I'm sorry, yesterday was my fault. I had a delayed birthday celebration, and life got in the way. Next Monday, 9 p.m. If you guys want to come here and listen to us tit-a-tat a little bit more, we're going to be doing that. The smooth sounds of O'Shaughnessy and Samson. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been legit as always.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.